Okay, first of all, I'd like to make an announcement on the Investment Advisory Committee. And Matthew, you were selected to the committee. Tim, I've got your contact information. I'd like to contact you. I've got a couple of questions for you, if that's okay. And thank you, everybody, for applying. And I think we put some great people on all these committees and commissions. It had some great applicants. Everybody was outstanding. So with that, I'm going to call the City Council meeting of June 2nd, 2026 to order. I'm sorry, the Golf Course Committee.
Clerk can read those names.
But yeah, City Clerk, could you read the names? I know Ben and John and Ben, John, and Robert. And thank you, everyone, for.
My notes are in the back of it.
Well, I think that's what it was. And thank you, everybody, for applying for that. Again, great applicants. And again, with this committee, there's another few openings next June, and I hope the applicants apply. Thank you. And now we're called to order. Make note that all 5 city council members are present.
Okay. Let's see here.
And with the Mr. Rolap recognition, are there people in attendance for that? Is there anybody here, Larry Rolap? We were going to do some recognition. There's no family members? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Invocation given by Ryder Steimel with San Clemente Stake Interfaith Specialist, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for the opportunity that we have this evening to meet here as the City Council and citizens of the City of San Clemente. We're grateful for all the many blessings that we have, for our beautiful city that we live in, for this country that we enjoy with all of its freedoms, liberties, and opportunities. We're grateful for the leadership of our city. We pray that your Spirit will be with them as they make decisions and take action on the needs and the requirements of managing this great city. Pray that you may lead and guide them as they make decisions for the citizens as well. And we ask for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Hey, Larry, you want to lead the Pledge of Allegiance?
Me? Sure. Hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. We've announced that all members of the City Council are present. First item on the agenda is status update on the city's goat grazing project, and we have Community Development Director Atamian here to present.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Adam Atamian, Community Development Director. We are continuing to work through the city's goat grazing program. We have some contracts that are waiting to be signed on the vendor side of that. They would cover approximately 35 acres of open space area around Vista Hermosa Sports Park, the Target property, that general area. Part of the process has been working with the city's goat grazing program operator, Mr. K. This is a quality problem kind of issue, but he has been engaging with some HOAs to provide services on some HOA-owned property, which is great to see. And so he's working through trying to schedule a lot of that with the city's work as well. And so we're trying to finalize those details. However, at this point, the city's ready to move forward under existing contracts under proposed contracts that are just waiting for their signature. So we anticipate having those soon and getting some goats into some new areas up in that area. So that is my presentation and report. If I can answer any questions, I'd be happy to.
Seeing none.
Thank you.
Adam?
Next item on the agenda is proclamation recognizing the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And
We're not presenting, we're presenting that to the city? Okay, so we can
Correct.
probably do it from the dais.
sure.
Victor, I think you brought this forward.
Yeah, you know, we're gonna be gone.
You can go stand at the podium if you want to.
No, I'll do it from here. So it is the 250th anniversary of the founding of our country. So I offered, you know, I think it's important to recognize for the public what's taking place. So here, let me read the resolution. Whereas July 4th, 2026 will be the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the birth of the United States, and whereas the United States was founded on the revolutionary principles proclaimed in the Declaration, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, and whereas these principles are the heritage of all Americans, regardless of ethnicity, national origin, religion, or political affiliation, and whereas the rights and whereas it is right and proper that the citizens of the residents of Orange County should be encouraged to commemorate and celebrate the historic ideals and aspirations embodied in the Declaration, and to reflect on the origin of the San Clemente, its history and contributions to the development of California and the United States. Whereas the 250th anniversary celebration provides community-wide efforts to equip our citizens and residents to engage in the civic life of their community and to listen and to learn from the history and each other to make lasting impact for generations to come. Whereas the USA 250 OC was formed to engage all public Orange Countyans in this once-in-a-generation opportunity to reflect on our founding principles and shared heritage, celebrate the achievements, look to the future, and collectively work towards a more perfect union. Whereas USA 250 OC engages Orange Countyans through a dynamic website and robust social media, serves as a comprehensive resource with access to a broad range of historical resources, develops strategy partnerships with cities, civic organizations, and others, and is a catalyst for stimulating creativity and integrating experience of all Orange Countyans, inspires the building and a sense of community, and provides significant programs focusing on our American founding and beyond. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Rick Loeffler, Mayor of the City of San Clemente, acting on behalf of the City Council and with the citizens of San Clemente, do hereby recognize July 4th, 2026 as the 250th anniversary of the founding of our great nation, celebrating 2.5 centuries of the land of liberty, freedom, innovation, and unlimited potential.
Thank you, Victor.
Next item on the agenda is council member reports.
Might as well just continue on, Victor.
Oh, I'll give my report next, okay. Let's see, Wednesday, the 20th, the day after the city council meeting, traveled to DC. Thursday, I met with senior leadership in the U.S. Department of Treasury regarding efforts to protect our rail lines through sand placement. It was a fruitful meeting. I've reported to senior leadership in San Clemente, and we have a game plan that we're developing to get more sand from the Department of Transportation. Attended a leadership dinner fundraiser that I'm a member of a committee that's raising scholarship for UC Irvine students and other community colleges and universities here in Orange County. Two of the guests we honored, there was many of them. One of them, Isai Morales, most recently an actor in Mission Possible, but had a long career. Another, Ileana Roth-Letham, a former representative of the House, among many others. Arranged tours for the Department of Treasury and the Bible Museum and the White House for guests of that dinner. Monday, the following week, we had 3 events: a Memorial Day ceremony at downtown. We had an event at Park Semper Fi. I think most of us went to that, and then a luncheon with a general at down at the pier. Tuesday, I had last week had a meeting with OCFA regarding our legislative agenda. Reviewed several significant pieces of legislation which impact fire authority and fire mitigation here in the county. Wednesday, I had a briefing put on by the White House in Washington, D.C. by phone. Thursday, I had the opportunity to meet with the Special Olympics runners. The Sheriff's Department ran the torch through San Clemente. It was a great experience to see the torch for the Special Olympics come through our town. Later on in the year, we'll have a bigger ceremony, I would expect, for the official torch of the Olympics. Thursday evening, had an OCFA meeting regarding labor negotiations, our contract with the Orange County Fire Authority, and a review of our annual budget, or CIP. Friday, had a meeting with SONG's Community Engagement Panel. Attended the Cove grand opening, attended the Best and Brightest for the firefighters here in San Clemente. And the only other thing I will mention about the firefighters, you know that we had that big meltdown in Garden Grove. Our fire chief was a big player in that, and it tells the story. I mean, what happened there in Garden Grove, we're a little bit further away from it, but it was a rather significant event if you live in North Orange County. Almost 50,000 people had to be evacuated, but most importantly, it demonstrated the capacity of the Orange County Fire Authority when funded to take care of these kind of bigger issues. And our fire chief had a lot to do with that. So I think they deserve the recognition. At the appropriate time, we will give them the recognition that they deserve. That was at a certain point in time, we were getting briefed on the committee practically every hour, but that could have been an explosion that destroyed thousands of homes and killed many people. But the Orange County Fire Authority, and this is what I learned as it was taking place, made the decision to go in, cool it down, risk their life to do that, and they need to be recognized for the great work that they've done. And I think we all owe the Fire Authority a great deal of appreciation. And our chief, for what he did, he took the week off this week, so he's not here. Otherwise, we'd recognize him personally. But I'd like to just thank the Orange County Fire Authority for the way they handled it, how they kept the public educated and up to date, up to speed, and really risked their lives in order to contain this what could have been a catastrophic event.
And our state senator, Tony Strickland, and our supervisor, Janet Wynn, did an outstanding job of getting
Absolutely.
Emergency status from the federal government as well.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Victor.
Thank you, Mayor. Wednesday, May 20th, attended Future of Coastal Infrastructure event hosted by UC Irvine, along with the City of St. Clemente at Casa Romarica. On Monday, 25th, attended the two Memorial Day services, one at the community center, the second one at the park, Semper Fi. 26th, the Tuesday, attended a LA20 meeting on transportation solutions for the Trestles venue. And then on 27th, Wednesday, attended OCOG, Orange County Council of Government Annual Conference. Thank you.
MR? Great, thank you. Also attended the UCI Future of Coastal Infrastructure with the partnership between UCI grad students and the city, looking at infrastructure needs for this city, and that great presentations there. Also stopped by the Polynesian Surf Festival. That was a great time to just celebrate our Polynesian roots there. And attended both of the memorial services on Memorial Day. And then last Thursday, attended the Cal Cities Coastal Leadership Group. Then yesterday, attended the Coastal Animal Shelter Authority, JPA, and we approved the budget for the year. And then I also sent you, oh, it's up there, great. So this month is adoptions are half off through the entire month. And then also this Saturday, if you'll go to the next slide, oh, sorry, no. This Saturday, adoptions for cats are free. And then also there's the summer reading program is also in full swing, both for children and for adults. Sorry, next slide, please. Here are some of the animals that are up for adoption. This is Boba, 1.5-year-old male, Affenpinscher. I didn't know that was a breed. So, but it looks very cute and adorable, and I'm sure Boba would like a home. Next one, please. And then we got Trinket, also just a 1-year-old Russell mix, lots of energy, looking for a young family. Next one, please. And a bunny, we got Cupid, Mini Lop, 3 years old, would love to snuggle. And next one. And of course, yes, we have our cats, 50% off for, sorry, not all adoptions, just for cats for the entire month. But then specifically this Saturday, adoption fees are free for kittens and other cats. So, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Mayor Pro Tem Noblock?
Since our last meeting, I attended the South County Economic Coalition's State of the Fifth District meeting with Sheriff Don Barnes and Supervisor Katrina Foley, and it was a great meeting. And Sheriff Barnes discussed the importance of the border patrol, border security, and the involvement of the Sheriff's Department there. I also attended, as my colleagues did, the Memorial Day services, a budget workshop. I attended the Friday coffee chat with San Clemente Times, and also, as my colleagues did, with the UCI Engineering Department's coalition effort that was celebrated at the Casa Romantica. Great event, and that concludes my remarks.
Thank you. So I'll put up my slide, and again, similar events. Did want to point out the memorial services at the community center and Park Simplify. Wayne Eggleston did a fantastic job, as he always does at Park Simplify, and Tim Brown did a great job as an MC at the community center, and also had lunch with General and Mrs. Wortman, the fishermen. Just great people. They hope to land here whenever the retirement comes, and just a great person. Also had the fortunate to go to the Best and Bravest, the OCFA event, and I want to point out that the firefighter of the year this year was Shelley Appleby. And I looked at her, I know it was Victor, and I thought she was like 25, and maybe she's 26, but she's a mother of 4, stud firefighter, and her sister is Candace Appleby, and if anybody knows the stand-up paddling community, Candace Appleby was the world champion, I think the first 4 years that they had it. So stud family, we're in good hands, and that's my report. Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is oral communications, and we have 2 speaker cards. Lois McNichol, followed by Mike Kay. Lois?
Today is the last day to vote in the primary election. Primaries are typically partisan in nature. Each party has an opportunity to select the candidate who will move on to the general election. California differs from most states in this respect. There is indisputable evidence that the 2020 election was tampered with and those issues have not been resolved. It's an absolute disgrace that the integrity of this process has not been addressed prior to this election cycle. Not by this council either. This has never been put on the agenda. I am an ordinary American citizen and a patriotic Californian who loves his country and respects the Constitution. The First and Second Amendments are unique to America and essential for its survival. These God-given rights are always attacked first. I have it on good authority that the mayor's latest attempts to place restrictions on free speech are both unnecessary and illegal. There are cities where the little blue cards are not required to speak at council meetings. No need to wonder about when to submit those special tickets or who should receive them. Examples include Newport Beach and Seal Beach. These new rules are also not codified. The attempts to restrict and regulate speech demonstrate the cavalier attitude of this council regarding encouraging and respecting public participation during these meetings. Restrictions on freedom of expression are not confined to council meetings. People ask me if I am harassed due to my attire, and while I was canvassing, several individuals refused to post yard signs because of the fear of retaliation by those who did not share their views. Susie PhD, which is the way she refers to herself, and Camcos, a former elected official, were key players in obtaining the signatures to place a 1% sales tax increase on the ballot without telling you that San Clemente residents already pay 9 different fees. 4 are identified as storm drain fees in the 5-year Mitigation Fee Act report. The explanation for this ballot measure does not include key elements. It includes a few surprises that have not been mentioned at council meetings.
Thank you, Lois.
Mike Kay?
City Council, I want to talk about a new subject, and that is what I'm seeing as a problematic overuse, misuse, and misregulation of various pesticides in our town. In our county, especially South County, the use of herbicides in watersheds has become a hot subject. I'm sure we're all aware. This is a very sporty town that we live in. It's a conservative town as well. And we like it that way. We value our time at the beach. We've raised our kids here. One of my daughters is an avid surfer. It troubles me to see the overuse of herbicides and the potential for these herbicides to run off into our oceans. I would think that our town would be especially concerned, given our sporty nature and the short runoff from these canyons into our ocean, would be especially concerned with the use and potential overuse and misuse of herbicides. There is the additional issue of poorly trained or poorly protected folks applying these commercial herbicides in our public spaces. I want to give some recent examples that I've had to deal with out at the goats. 2 companies, and I'm not going to name any, it's not about that. It's just about the overall use of this in our town and the timing that it's being looked at in our communities. But on several occasions, 2 contracted large landscape companies have misused the spraying of herbicides adjacent to the goats. I have pictures of them spraying at the goats, like touching the goats, not near them, at them. The spray was wafting over all of us working there and over all of the goats for hours. This was done on a trail where dozens of dogs are walked every single day. Kids ride their bikes every single day. Folks get out and take a walk every day. When the dogs sniff, they're sniffing high concentrations of this freshly applied herbicide. There is no signage, there is no warning, there is nothing to protect citizens from this. The herbicides are sprayed even now when things are dead. They're overused. There doesn't seem to be anyone really keeping an eye on it, and I think we need to tighten it up. We need to restrict the use, and we need to warn folks of what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Amanda Quintanilla?
I have a PowerPoint presentation, and I just want to add to what the previous commenter, Michelle Schumacher, did propose toxic San Clemente, no toxic communities of pesticides, herbicides, and toxins, and this was done years ago. So as our campaign season is kind of coming to fruition at our city council level. Next slide, please. One of the things to remind people is that electioneering is prohibited. Violations can lead to fines and or imprisonment. Within the immediate vicinity, a person in line to cast their ballot or within 100 feet. So basically, there's no electioneering near a polling site, having campaign signs like at the community center. So it should not be within 100 feet of the entrance of a polling place, curbside voting, or drop box of the following activities are prohibited. Next slide, please. This is an example that I saw this morning where Supervisor Foley had some signs there and for a couple of people, for judges as well. Next slide. And so this is just a reminder of the past where a senator had posted a hyperlink to his state assembly, council member state assembly campaign website. Next slide, please. And we have here also a post by a member of the public who's running for city council. And just as a friendly reminder of that, you know, taking pictures, just to be aware of that it should not be, you know, any kind of promoting or endorsing any candidates. I think that's it. Next slide. And that's it. Thank you so much. I just wanted to briefly comment, maybe to keep that in mind as we move forward with campaign season. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Next item on the agenda is motion waiving reading in full of all resolutions and ordinances.
Have a motion? So moved. Okay, I'll make the motion. Councilmember Enmeyer, second. All in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0.
Consideration of agendizing items requiring immediate action.
So moved. Or sorry, no, I don't have.
Well, let's look around. Let's make sure there's nobody. No, okay. There are none.
Jump the gun on that.
Closed session report, city attorney,
I have no report as there was no closed session. Thank you.
staff communications.
None?
All right. Public hearings. The public hearing process includes a staff presentation or presentation by the applicant not to exceed 10 minutes and public testimony not to exceed 3 minutes per speaker. Following closure of the public hearing, the city council will respond to questions raised during the hearing, discuss the issues, and act upon the matter by motion. And our first public hearing is item 8A. It's a public hearing to consider zoning amendment 26-064, the introduction of an ordinance to amend San Clemente.
Time's up.
All right, I'm
Time's
done.
Next item.
Still unwinding from that marathon meeting we had before this. Let's see here. Ordinance to amend San Clemente Municipal Code Section 17.28.270, accessory dwelling units, and 17.88.030, definitions consistent with housing element commitment and state law, and finding this action is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to Public Resources Code Section 21080.17 and CEQA Guidelines 15282H.
Open the public hearing, and I'll ask, does anybody have any disclosures? Okay, are there any communications that came in after the item was agendized?
No.
Are there any speaker cards on this?
Yes, we have 2 speaker cards.
Okay, is there, let's see, is there a staff report? Do we need a
We've all
staff?
been briefed on it.
Does anybody need
personally,
a staff
so
report on
I
this?
don't think so.
Okay, let's hear the speaker.
Amanda Quintanilla, followed by Larry Culbertson.
So, thank you so much for a wonderful staff report, because it really detailed all the Senate bills and Assembly bills that came before the legislation. Seven, I guess there was 7 of them. It's amazing how they took away local control, and I was really impressed with the Planning Commission, as the staff report stated that they had expressed their concern regarding the loss of authority regarding the zoning amendments that would not adversely affect public health, safety, or welfare. They brought up concerns regarding the infrastructure, regarding power, water, electricity. However, it did mention that the Public Works, there is, I guess, there's basically new efficient water capabilities or access where it does make it a little bit more easier for ADUs. However, it's unfortunate that the city can't have more restrictive laws, right? Where they can restrict the number of ADUs or junior ADUs in our community, because parking is an issue, and certain legislation has taken away these parking requirements, and that's really unfortunate. I'm really concerned about that, especially when in our downtown area we have maybe a home, an apartment building, another home, and so parking is limited in certain areas, and that really makes it really uncomfortable, because you have an ADU, and then you have a couple people living in that, and it really does impact our community in that way. But I just wanted to say I'm in strong opposition to this, but I understand that the City of San Clemente received a letter from the Housing and Community Development back in October of 2025. However, that was not included in this staff report or in the agenda, which would have been nice to know what their stance was, or how their wording was, as far as if it was a demand letter or so, or if there was any strong language to that, or if it was just a kindly, friendly reminder. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Amanda.
Larry Culbertson.
Good evening, Council. Larry Culbertson. The spread of ADUs will diminish residents' quality of life. Most people carefully select the neighborhood in which they buy their home. They do so with reasonable expectations. They expect neighbors will behave responsibly and maintain their properties in ways that preserve the area's character. If the number of residents and vehicles in a neighborhood doubles, triples, or quadruples, the peace and quiet and appearance that defines that neighborhood will inevitably be reduced. That is exactly what this ordinance's large increase in allowed ADUs will do. The impact might have been manageable if the limit had remained at 1 ADU per single-family home, but state lawmakers have expanded the requirement so that up to 3 additional units must now be allowed. A single-family lot can now contain 4 households. If a garage is converted into an ADU, the lost parking space does not need to be replaced. A property that once needed space for just 2 cars could now generate 8 or more. Where will they park? On the front lawn? There could be another ADU on the front lawn. There is also the question of trash. Where will all the containers be stored? And what will the streets look like on trash day? The controversies over vacation rentals and rehab houses several years ago should serve as a warning. Excessive ADU conversions will bring on a nightmare. The financial incentives are strong enough that absentee investors will be buying properties in San Clemente, both single-family and multifamily, and adding as many units as possible. I understand that we must approve this zoning amendment to bring our municipal code into compliance with state law, or else. Still, it's striking that state officials demand that we comply with their policies while they boast about having sued the federal government 123 times over policies that they disagree with. Is it time for us to push back against the state's ADU mandate? Is there anything we can legally do to disincentivize the excessive ADU menace? At a minimum, we need to plan to address the negative effects ADUs will have on our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. No comment, oh, there's a
I
comment?
do have a comment.
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to say, I vehemently disagree with the policy. It gets worse than that. It's not just the 3 that people are allowed. They could lot split first and then on each add more. So you could have double that amount that was mentioned by Larry on a single lot. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for infrastructure. But it's not the city council that's doing it on our own initiative. We're being forced to do so by the people in Sacramento, the state of California, and we're doing so reluctantly. The only alternative is to take legal action, but that's not a good option here. So we're gonna, at this point in time, just move forward.
Agree. Any other comments?
Just to remind everyone, it is Election Day, and those policies can be changed by the people that represent us in Sacramento.
Other comments? I'm going to close the public hearing. Entertain a motion?
Call the question.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Cabral.
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Noblock. All in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0.
Next item on the agenda is public hearing to consider the adoption of the budget for fiscal year 26-27 and fiscal year 27-28.
We'll open the public hearing, and I think I can speak for all of us. We've been briefed, so the disclosure is we've all talked about this numerous times. Was there any other communication came after the? Oh.
And had a hearing.
And had a hearing on it, yeah, a public hearing. So are there any other communications came after the item was agendized?
No, and we have one speaker card.
We have one speaker card, and I also hear we have an extremely short presentation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll continue with the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, in light of the lengthy workshop last Tuesday, we've trimmed this way down. So I have a summary slide that basically just kind of summarizes some things we went over last week. The all funds budget being adopted for the first year is $194.6 million, followed by $188.4 the following year. Revenues in general are healthy. We have done some cost of service studies and fee increases over the past few years that make a significant difference in what we expect to, the costs we expect to recover for our services that we deliver. Property tax has been holding strong with we're anticipating about $2 million of growth each year. We have an improved general fund operating position compared to the last 2-year cycle with a surplus of $471,620 in the first year, followed by $496,330 in fiscal year 28. The capital improvement program, which you guys received a lengthy presentation on last week, is fully funded. Our unfunded liability situation has improved. And we also highlighted a few areas of concern in the workshop, specifically storm drain fund revenue, street sweeping, which we'll be bringing forth some alternative solutions for that in the coming months, as well as a lack of full funding for major initiatives such as the Army Corps SAM project. Oops. All right, this is not the version I thought I was presenting, so I'm going to jump through some stuff here.
Thank you.
I'm going to go all the way ahead. With that summary, if there's other details the council would like to ask questions about or address, staff is available. But now I'll talk. I have 3 slides that address issues that were brought up during the workshop, and we did some fine tuning to the proposed budget to address those concerns. One is the proposed update to the fiscal policy. And this is to address the transformation of what used to be called the reserve fund to be our CIP fund. And so what we're proposing is removal of the previous reserve fund policy and adding the following, which is that the city should target an unassigned fund balance of 2% of operating costs in the general fund each year. And then the year-end balance above that threshold will be brought forth each year after the audit and after the ACFR is published for the council to contemplate allocating those funds elsewhere. So it could be to the Capital Improvement Fund, it could be to the Section 115 Trust, or any other funding needs that the council desires at their discretion. And if the council were to choose not to take any action, the funds would just remain in general fund, unassigned fund balance, earning interest. And so I think it might be helpful. I could go through all three of these, or we could contemplate each one as we go. I guess if anybody has any questions.
Okay, sir, before we go to the comments, or comments from the audience, does anybody have a question at this point?
I have one question.
Councilman Ermar.
Yes, there, at the beginning, you talked about some of the upcoming costs that were that we need to prepare for. One of them was the ASAN project. Can you explain just what that cost is and what it will entail?
So the Army Corps project is as you know, has a fairly hefty price tag. And so I believe it's about, and the city manager could help me out here, but I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 million for each 5 to 6 year cycle. We do have $1 million included in the budget in year 2 that could be used for the planning and engineering phase of that project, but we do not currently have funding in the budget for that next sand delivery.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, we'll probably move it after we've done this. I think at the end of the year, after we do our audit, the city brings back the fund balance from the general fund. And I'd like to see that money go to the 115 trust, only because it will earn more interest. And it will be set aside from our regular spending. It won't show up. It'll get more interest, and we can use that money to pay our annual debt, what is $8 million that we normally owe to our retirement accounts. But if we had that money there, we'd have less. It would, as the 115 is designed, earn more interest than just sitting there in our general fund balance.
Well, I agree with that in concept. I think the actuarial unfunded liability is about, correct me if I'm wrong, it's about $3 million every year. That's not including the normal contribution.
I think it's more like 8.
If I may, we have 4 different separate retirement plans that we have to address. 3 of them are with CalPERS. Those add up to about $3 million in the upcoming year budget. And the amount for the CSERT plan, which is employees that were in the old, before the city migrated to CalPERS about 10 years ago, we had a different plan. So employees that worked for the city back then, but didn't carry into CalPERS, that one's about $2 million. So total of 5 for the UAL for the upcoming budget year. And that's in addition to our normal contributions to participate in those plans.
Is the 115 trust fund for CalPERS only or also for CSERP?
I believe the policy for the Section 115 trust allows the council to contribute to whichever plan they felt like it was warranted, wherever it could do the most good, I would presume. Okay. So it could be used for CSERP or CalPERS.
Yeah, I think we should put those money aside to offset the unpaid.
If there's no further questions of staff, we'll hear public comments and then we'll have discussion,
Sure.
if that's okay. Public comments? Oh, wait, one second. City manager.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. We're talking about 2 different things because I think everybody is correct, but talking about them 2 different ways. We have what's called the unfunded accrued liability, and that's the UAL that we've talked about, the past pension that we need to catch up on because the returns aren't as high as they anticipated. And then there's the normal payment that we have to continue to pay. So the UAL is about $5 million, and then we have 3 or 4 million other that we have to pay on our regular every year payment. So we're all kind of talking about it, and it gets very confusing, but I wanted to make sure that there's clarity that we're talking about. Some of it is past non-recovery of return, and some of it is going forward with the current employees. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you. public comments?
Yes, Mayor, before we move on to public comments, I believe Assistant City Manager Brower has 2 more slides. Did you want to?
Oh, sure. Let's see the 2 more slides for sure.
So next up is, there was a question about our Code Compliance Division staffing, and so I wanted to provide some clarification. So in the Code Compliance Division, there's different programs within that division. And there are 14 staff members budgeted in the Code Compliance Division. 2 of those are largely administrative. One is a Code Compliance Manager, one's an Office Specialist. The Code Manager's been vacant for several months. There's then 4 Code Compliance Field staff. Originally, there were 5 in this budget. There's 1 position, a Code Compliance Technician, that was vacant for a while, and funding has actually been removed. If you recall from the workshop, there's been funding removed for 4 positions citywide. One of those was the Code Compliance Technician, so there's 4 field staff there. There's 2 community outreach workers, and then, and I should note that the community outreach workers are primarily funded from a grant source. And then for the park rangers, there's 1 park ranger supervisor, and then what's in the proposed budget currently is 5 senior park rangers, which represents the addition of 1 full-time senior park ranger. I will note that we've removed funding for part-time park rangers. and so-
How many part-time did we remove?
Well, I believe there may have been somewhere around 7 individuals who were working some hours and currently engaged. So this does scale back the hours of coverage a bit, but it focuses their efforts. And
What's the overall savings on just the park rangers?
the overall savings to the park rangers is estimated at, I think, $46,000 or $48,000 in the first year, followed by $36,000 in the second year of the budget.
Thank you.
And with that, I guess I would open up further to questions, because those are the things that we were directed to bring back after the
Any
workshop.
questions before public comments now? Now,
Is there a second
going once, okay. Public comments.
No, the other slide was kind of redundant.
Yeah, what's your second?
No, the other slide was redundant. I think we clarified
So
the point.
you have redundant slides.
Amanda Quintanilla.
Amanda, please come up here and break this up.
Please.
I hope I don't have any redundant slides. So PowerPoint, please. So, let's see. PowerPoint? Yeah, if you could stop my time. Well, no, I wanted to bring back a couple of things, but, okay. So next slide, please. So one of the things that I saw in the capital improvement projects was the Pico widening bike path from I-5 to Frontera. And I've been concerned about this for quite some time regarding the huge wall there on the north side of Avenida Pico. However, when looking at the cost, it's $10 million. That's really huge. However, I was wondering if if the city can apply for Safe Routes to School funds, any grants from that, or use Measure M2 funds, and maybe that could qualify that under that OCTA or tax measure M2 funds. Also, I'm concerned about the Avenida Victoria sidewalk and underpass improvements. Next slide, please. I know in 2023, there was another thing. In 2023, there was concerns regarding the Pier Pride, basically their plans, and it went to the Design Review Subcommittee. And I'm just kind of wondering why it didn't go to the Beaches, Parks, and Recreation Commission. I mean, why it went to Beaches, Parks, and Recreation rather than going to the Design Review Subcommittee. So I just bolded the sidewalk pavement improvements on Avenida Victoria, which seems to be the entrance to the pier. And the underpass. Next slide, please. So I was out there this morning, and I was concerned about why Pier Pride had mentioned that they really want to see the view from the sidewalk all the way to the end of the pier. However, there's a sign on the left side for the fishermen, and then some little minor trimming of a tree there or bush that really just needs to be done. Next slide, please. And so you could see where that bush needs a slight trim. And again, another picture on this left where it shows that, where it could just be a slight trim. There's no need to spend $450,000. And in the CIP, it said that Pier Pride was going to contribute 25% of the actual cost, which is 25% of 450 would be $112,500. Next slide. And that's the other view from that as well, where they could trim the tree rather than cutting all that down to provide shade or respite for people that want to, cool off a little bit and then wait for the trolley. But on that report, staff report, it said that people have been going onto the adjacent travel lane. I have not heard that, so I would like to have some more information on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amanda.
Mike Kay?
Council, I'm going to really dig down here. I'm a little dismayed to hear we're only saving $36,000 to $46,000 by eliminating our estimated 7 part-time park rangers. To eliminate park rangers, part-timers, to save such a small amount of money, in my opinion, is probably not a smart move. Right now, we have a full-timer who will be leaving due to pregnancy issues coming up. We have potentially another full-timer moving on to a better position. We have a part-timer, Jude, who has got his heart and soul in here and strong recommendation by his peers. Would be a great guy to move into a full-time position, but staffing will be threatened without the overlap of at least some part-time aspect to it, and that's a small savings. I know this sounds out of the box, but there is $100,000 allocated towards goats. The safety of the goats has been the major concern of the program entirely. We have a camera out there now. We have ongoing park rangers visiting at 1 a.m. They come out. They come out at feeding around 7. They come out when they start daytime shift and night shifts. They come out 4 or 5 times each day during heavy usage times like holidays and weekends and carnival and those types of times. So the park rangers are an important aspect, part-timers and full-timers, for the security of our goats. I'm also a local fisherman, and they're out there on the pier. They're looking for illegal lobsters. They've been in a car chase for a guy who was bagging illegal stuff. They play an important role in our town. I would like to see increased use of the park rangers, especially the younger guys who are coming up and are the part-timers, and the role that they can play going forward, especially with Olympics a couple years away. I'm just not sure that cutting all of our part-timers out is a good idea. And if we do promote one, Jude has been a godsend to us out at the goats, and I'm just going to throw his name out there. And I know his peers feel the same way. But yeah, if you want to move a little funding from the allocation towards us, towards where it should be, protection of the goats, that might be a smart way to go. But anyway, park rangers are really, really good. They do a lot of good for us. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. So is there any other questions of staff before we close the public hearing? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Comments from staff or from my fellow council members?
Sure, I will continue. I think it's a good idea to put aside the money in my viewpoint, for 2 purposes. One is to pay down the unpaid pension liability. We had a few good years. Stock market was performing really well. That raised our funded percentage from 71 to 75%, but they don't last forever. I think it's always a good idea to raise that funding percentage, getting into 80s. That's what I like to see. So I support that. And then another portion of the extra money I'd like you to go to is the sand replacement. Army Corps supposedly is going to replenish our sand beach in 5 to 6 years. 2028 is Olympic year, so let's say 2029 we do it again. That's 6 years from the initial project, 2023. And if we don't put aside enough money, we don't have to fund it fully, but we need to have a decent amount of money. Otherwise, this is not going to happen. And we cannot have the wishful thinking that the tax is going to pass. So they are the two top priorities for me. For the extra money we have at the end of the year, we can sweep aside and put them into, we don't have to put all money into these two categories. We can still keep some money for other discretionary capital improvement projects, but they are the two areas I'd like them to go to.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if I could, I'm going to make a motion.
Sure.
Okay, so my motion would be to make an amendment so that at the end, at year end, after we've done our audit, because we will be doing an audit of our city funds, the city will bring back to us unassigned fund balance from the general fund and seek direction from us on moving a certain portion of that into the 115 trust. I just want to put it on the agenda so that it will happen, that we will decide to put that money into 115 trust, only because I think it's prudent to have that money earning better interest, and that can always be used for any of the pension liabilities that we have. But other than that, I think that that's the best strategy that we have for saving money in a prudent and fiscally responsible manner.
And I would, since, I just want to make a comment though before that, but that would also allow us the flexibility if we did want to allocate some money to our sand replenishment at that time when it came back, we could still do
But
that.
we would have the remainder of the balance in our fund balance. We could do whatever we want with it.
I just wanted that for
And
clarification.
we're not deciding yet what we're signing until we do an audit.
Okay, so we had a motion by Councilmember Cabral, second by Mayor Pro Tem Noblock. All in favor?
Just to confirm, Mr. Mayor, that's also to adopt Resolution 2696?
Yeah.
Is that
Yes, that was the
Thank you.
motion.
second as well? Thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is Major Brown Act updates under Senate Bill 707, open meetings, meeting and teleconference requirements, and consideration of updates to Policy 1201-11, including a follow-up discussion regarding appointment of the Mayor Pro Tem.
Are there any comments?
There is one comment.
Do we want to just hear the comment before we start this? Okay.
Okay, Amanda Quintanilla?
I think I've heard this report before.
There's no PowerPoint presentation on this, so I'm just going to wing it here. I've been a strong supporter of our First Amendment and free speech, obviously, and also Second Amendment rights and Fourth Amendment rights. However, I'm really concerned about this because I do support remote public comments because it does provide people to participate in these public meetings and have them be more accessible for people that are not able to be here regarding illnesses or disabilities. However, with reading the staff report, I'm concerned about that all remarks and questions by a speaker shall be addressed to a city, not city staff. And I'm kind of concerned about that because at times I know myself, I've congratulated city staff for wonderful presentations and that. I don't want that to be confused as directing that to that and then have my time be cut off because I addressed city staff or city council member. So I think it raises a question regarding content-based discrimination, whether you're talking to or you're addressing a city staff member. Also, there's another on the staff report. It says the mayor may rule that a speaker is impeding the orderly conduct conduct of the meeting if the comment is off topic or unrelated or unrelated to the agenda, and their time will be forfeited as well. So I'm concerned about this because I know I've presented some PowerPoint presentations and a council member has kindly interrupted me because there was some clarification of where I was headed. However, I just, after that clarification, everything was fine and my time was not really given back to me. However, my concern is that it may look that, that is maybe a suppression of free speech, so I'm really concerned about that. Also, in the staff report, it says, "No person in the audience at the city council meeting shall engage in conduct that is or unorderly conduct such as clapping, stomping feet," and that's all free speech, and that's all protected by the First Amendment, so I'm really concerned about that. Even as well, we've seen members of the public say slanderous speech, then again, it is protected as well. Be prohibited from okay, so there's another concern regarding prohibited from speaking on any further items. So if someone is found to be in violation of that, then they're going to be prohibited and they're not able to speak on further agenda items for that city council meeting. So I'm concerned about that. Thank you so much.
Amanda. Councilmember Cabral?
Last speaker?
No. Is that?
All right, yeah, here's my thoughts on it. The state, again, has overreached, forcing this upon cities. There's nothing we can do about it. We have to have the system, so we'll have the system in place. Two, I think we all agree that protection of the First Amendment is critical. It is. It's important to listen to everybody and expeditiously as we can. The third thing, as I look at what we're trying to fix, and maybe we do have an idea of what the problem is, I'm not so sure that we're able to fix a problem that hasn't yet been identified, that we don't have the tools right now, you as mayor, to fix any problem that we have. And so it may be premature, given the change of law, to address it at this point in time, to try and fix a problem that we don't know. It could be, the problem could be a variety of things. It could be people calling in on the phone. It could be a variety of things. I don't think we've had that much of a problem here in the city. We have had some incidents, but they've been isolated. Maybe, and this is my personal view, is that at this point in time, we don't try and fix the problem that we don't know is going to emerge out of this new policy, that we wait until we see if there is a problem that emerges, from the people calling in on the phone. But until that time, we just table this and see if a problem really does emerge here in San Clemente, and if we can address it with the tools that the mayor has currently. Those are my preliminary thoughts on this.
Go on.
I'll speak to that. I agree with you that this is a little bit of the state overreaching on this. But I think the reason why this is here and why to do it now, so that if a problem does erupt, we have the tools that are there. I don't see implementing this really changing anything of how we do business already. It's just hey, when we start doing these videos and these teleconferences, there have been instances of other cities who implemented this years ago under COVID and then received issues right off the bat. So this gives us tools to work with that right away instead of trying to catch up later. So again, I don't see implementing this changing how we do business whatsoever, but it just gives us some tools in case an issue does arise. So with that, I'll make a motion to adopt policy 1201-11 as provided in attachment 1.
I'll second. So we have a motion by,
Discussion on the motion?
oh, sure, go ahead.
Discussion.
This motion includes 4.3.1.1, which makes us appoint a mayor pro tem on a rotational basis.
Sure.
Yeah, I am opposed to that. I don't think the governance of this council should be governed by policy and procedure. It should be governed by the members every time the issue comes up and to make a decision rather than saying 4 years from now, this person will be in a particular governance spot.
Well, I'll speak to that. I think after the last situation speaks to it, and it takes all of the Brown Act and the deals and all this stuff right on out of it, and I think that's what I'd like to see. So I still support the rotation.
I think also it just makes it equitable that every district who has voted on that council member will have that opportunity to see their council member that they voted on have an opportunity to be that mayor pro tem. And we're really talking about the mayor pro tem. It's not anything fancy. I know, I've been it twice.
Councilmember Wu.
I support the policy 4.3.1.1 regarding the mayor pro tem selection. I believe that this new procedure promotes predictability, promotes transparency, and allows the council to focus on city businesses, and also improve the public trust by eliminating political maneuvering behind the scene. But I do have a friendly amendment I'd like to make. It is an item on the, it's a one of the bullet item. It says large placard.
Which bullet, do you know what number?
It's
or
on
where?
page 5. This is an Italian text regarding the mayor's regulation of the conduct in the meeting. It's page number 5. It says large placards, banners, signs, flags, or other objects that have the effect of interrupting or disrupting the orderly conduct or blocking the views of others within the chamber of the meeting are not permitted.
Excuse me for interrupting. What section are you reading from, Zen?
This is
Page
Page
5.
5. Which part of page 5?
Updates to policy 1201. It's bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4,
4.5?
It's a fourth from the bottom,
Yes, bullet point 7, I think. 1, 2,
8
3,
from the
8,
top.
sorry.
Yeah.
Large placards, banners, signs, flags, or other objects that have the effect of interrupting or disrupting the orderly conduct or blocking the views of others within the chamber of the meeting are not permitted in the chamber.
I have issue with this particular item because this has little to do with the online attendance, which we're trying to preempt. This is about people bringing a sign. If they bring a sign and stay on the back side of the wall, I don't see any
And
problem.
it's perfectly fine.
It's perfectly fine, but the language says large placard, banners, signs,
That,
are not permitted.
no,
No, that are blocking the views.
that it block the view.
Well, the blocking view has all, so it's not a modifier of the signs. It depends on how you interpret the language.
Well, I just think we've had that situation even recently where people, cars and coffee, they brought signs. There was no problem. They just held the signs up when they held them and put them down, and that wouldn't be precluded. I think what they're talking about, if somebody brought in something and put a banner across where the audience couldn't see the dais, I think we can work through that, Zen.
Okay, well, then that's the language is not clear for me.
How would you like to change it? I mean,
Maybe the city attorney can help
Sure.
to rewording it.
What are you proposing?
What's
What's your language?
If I have to make a decision right now, my suggestion is just take this paragraph out. But I hear you.
yeah,
I agree with you.
I just don't think it's a,
It's the language.
I think we're going to be around
Could
here
be
for a couple of years, Zen. We'll make sure it's okay. Well,
Okay,
we
okay.
will, we will. I
So
trust
people
you.
bringing sign, they stand on the backside of a wall.
No problem.
No problem.
No problem.
right? Okay.
Just if it interferes with the meeting or somebody else trying to
I
watch.
just don't think we want like a
a
large
banner.
banner that's in the front row that no one can see.
We've had signs
behind it,
before
yeah.
and we've never prohibited them.
Good.
I think it would change, but I,
Good. Okay.
I appreciate what you're saying.
It could be.
Okay.
I was not asking for the.
So we've had a
further
motion
amendment.
by Councilmember Enmeyer.
Point of order. I
sure.
thought, did Victor make a motion?
No.
You made a motion to table, or did you?
No, I
I'm
didn't make the
confused.
motion. no.
You did not?
No.
He just said it wasn't necessary.
Okay,
So
all right.
Councilmember Enmeyer made the motion. I made the second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No, Victor Cabral.
I'm going to be a no as well.
Oh, well, wait, hold on. We have two noes. Mayor Pro Tem Novak and Councilmember Cabral. Passes 3-2.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is 2026 County of Orange Point and time count.
And I think we have a staff report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council, Adam Matamian, Community Development Director. The item included on the agenda related to the 2026 point-in-time count was placed on here in somewhat of an urgency fashion. Staff felt it necessary to talk to the council about the point-in-time count and the ramifications from it. And that's why there's just some documents that are included in the packet. Those include the point-in-time count summary from 2026. It includes the community outreach team's monthly survey or statistics, rather, from 2026 in December of 2025, January of 2026, and February of 2026. The point-in-time count occurred in January, and so those numbers are provided to give a 3-month window into what our community outreach staff actually observed on the street over the course of a month. It also includes a communication that I sent to the Director of the Office of Care Coordination, Mr. Douglas Becht, 2 years ago after the 2024 point-in-time count was released. The final item was a map which was provided by Mr. Becht upon some questions from city staff, myself primarily, asking for more information on the methodology of the 2024 count. So I have a prepared statement because what I really want to say is probably not appropriate for this venue. And then we also have our community outreach staff, Carly Hunter and Troy Shanker, available for any questions should the council ask for any updates on the city's homeless situation. So I wanted to take a few minutes to provide some context regarding the Orange County point-in-time count and seek direction from the City Council regarding potential next steps. As background, the point-in-time count, commonly referred to as the PIT count, is a federally required count of sheltered and unsheltered homeless individuals conducted by communities across the nation. That count is coordinated locally in Orange County by the Orange County Continuum of Care, and is ultimately reported to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, more commonly known as HUD. The purpose of the PIT count is to provide a snapshot of homelessness on a single night. The data is used by federal, state, and regional agencies to evaluate homelessness trends, measure program performance, inform public policy, and support decisions regarding the allocation of funding for homeless services and housing programs. In Orange County, PIT count data is routinely cited in grant applications, funding requests, strategic planning documents, and public reports. In relation to strategic planning documents, I'll refer to our own zoning ordinance as being under that category. The city recently updated our emergency shelter overlay to address the allowances in that part of the code as it related to the city's last point-in-time count. So there are real measurable impacts to these numbers and how they affect the city. It serves as, the PIT serves as one of the primary metrics used by decision makers to understand the scale and distribution of homelessness throughout the region, state, and nation. Because these numbers are used to inform policy and funding decisions, it is important that the information reported is as accurate as possible. As the council is aware, the city has previously expressed concerns regarding the methodology and results associated with the point-in-time count in San Clemente. Based upon observations from city staff, law enforcement, outreach personnel, and others familiar with local conditions, that there is concern that the reported figures for San Clemente may not accurately reflect the actual homeless population present within the city during the count period. This was reflected, and we don't have the entire methodology data at this point in time I shouldn't use that term, at this time, to make this comparison in the 2026 numbers. But in 2024, the point-in-time count was conducted on a single day. And then the county had CityNet come out a few days later. My letter references this. Had CityNet come out a few days later to do what they called a cleanup count. That activity alone makes it not a point-in-time count. It then becomes a survey over time, which is something completely different than a point-in-time count. Staff has concerns that this same type of methodology was used this year, and part of that concern is from the point-in-time count summary itself. It touts how it uses the same methodology every 2 years so that the results are comparable over time, so that there's no difference in the methodology. Well, if the methodology was flawed 2 years ago and it's flawed this year, then we're not dealing with accurate numbers. We're dealing with potentially inflated numbers, and that is concerning. While staff recognizes that conducting a countywide count is a challenging undertaking, and that no methodology is perfect, we believe there are sufficient concerns regarding the accuracy of the reported results to warrant further communication with the agencies and organizations that rely upon this information, specifically who the county is reporting these numbers to for the purposes that I laid out earlier, such as grant funding applications and metrics reporting. Accordingly, staff is seeking direction from the City Council to prepare correspondence documenting the city's concerns regarding the methodology and resulting data associated with the point-in-time count. The letters would be directed to the Orange County Continuum of Care, relevant state agencies and federal agencies, including HUD, for the purposes of ensuring that decision makers are aware of the city's concern and have the benefit of additional local information when evaluating the reported results. This concept is not intended to challenge the importance of addressing homelessness, nor is it intended to diminish the efforts of the volunteers and organizations that participate in the count. Rather, it is intended to advocate for the most accurate data possible, recognizing that sound public policy depends upon reliable information. That concludes my statement, and I'm happy to answer any questions. As I mentioned before, our community outreach team is here to answer any questions that you may have for them.
Since I agendized it, can I take the
go
first shot? Hey, Carly and Troy, could you step up to the podium, please? And I will echo you that we take our homeless situation very, very seriously. The fact we have 39 housed I think is remarkable. I assume that's because of Friendship Shelter and FAM and getting people housing. I think they've done a remarkable job. I'll hold my final comment till I ask a couple of questions. So I look at this number 74, and boy, I'll tell you, as I drive around the city, and I drive around it often, and probably my district has probably the highest degree of homeless. That's why I'm concerned, and I drive around and I look at this number of 74 and I'm baffled. So let's just simplify this, and we'll cut it into two categories. And we've done the housed already. Remarkable job, thank you. So how many homeless that really are homeless or on the streets, let's say in San Clemente, on a continuous basis? They might come, they might go a little bit, but we really consider them are homeless. Just give me a rough number, an estimate, what you think that might be.
I would say approximately 30 to 45.
Okay, and that's good. So we'll say 35. And how many? This is going to be, I'm sure, a different number. But how many kind of cruise in and you see them at the bus stop, and I see them, and all of a sudden, they find a place to go, or you help them find a place to go? How many transients, like maybe on a monthly basis, do you think we have?
Oh, that's a lot more.
Yeah, people just coming in and out of the city from either public transportation or neighboring cities, it could be twice that.
Sure, but they don't stay. They're just.
These are people that are just here for maybe the day or even an hour, or they leave, they're on their way somewhere.
So your numbers you gave me together kind of add up to what this number is, which means I guess every tourist that comes into town could be considered homeless. We could have 20,000 considered homeless in every day if they just don't stay a day.
That's one of our main problems with the point-in-time count is.
Can you speak into the
Yeah,
mic?
put your mic on, make sure it's on.
Sorry, one of the main points that we have a problem with point-in-time is the observations, which is one of the ways that you can judge whether or not, well, you mark someone, right? Troy and I would be great at that because we know our homeless individuals. Any random individual will think that anybody walking with a backpack, anybody who
Flip-flops.
flip-flops, messy looking, which a lot of, people that have money like to go out just very casual and can, so the observes are the ones that are the most concerning because it's just anybody can just say that person's unhoused, that person's unhoused, unless you have somebody that actually knows what they're doing.
Mr. Mayor?
No, just one last question.
And they
I
can
just want
also
to clarify
get
something.
repeat.
Oh, sure. No,
Your
go-
point.
oh, sure.
Because I talked to him this afternoon about your numbers, that 45 number. What I was told, they feel 17 permanent people here, and the other 20 or plus are transient, come in for the day and move. Is that a good characterization of?
It's around that, yeah.
Okay.
Mayor, if I may,
Sure.
just clarify that point a little bit more. So in January of this year, the community outreach team made contact with 47 unduplicated individuals. Those numbers reflect 8 people that they had never made contact with before, what we'd call a new arrival. And it also represented 19 individuals that experienced a street exit. That's either a family reunification or going into some type of program. Those numbers mean that there's approximately 20 people. That's 27 people either came or left during that month, meaning that there were 20 people that were probably here the entire month. Those numbers, I'm going to say, are relatively similar to what we've had since then, and the concern is that even if you counted every single person that came into the city in that month, there's no way you can make that add up to 74.
Yeah, my second part of the question is, because I've noticed our point-in-time count has gone up every year for 3 years. And again, the optics is, it looks like it's gone down, my optics, but at worst, it hasn't got any worse in 3 years, and yet our point-in-time count seems to it's doubled in 3 years.
Yes, actually, the point-in-time count went down between 2019 and 2022.
I'm talking about the last 3
The
years.
last 3 years?
Yeah, after COVID.
That went
No,
down last year.
in
Last year.
2022, it was 81, and then in 2024, it was 65.
Yeah.
And then this year, it shot up for the
Okay.
first time. And the most insulting part, if I may add, is we are the only city on the point-in-time count that increased, which is a huge slap in the face to Carl and I, saying that we are the only outreach program in Southern Orange County that did not make any progress.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because the point-in-time count first came up with, I have a good friend who's the mayor of Newport Beach, and she said, this point-in-time count is crazy. And I looked at our numbers, I go, yeah, and then I looked at her number as 8, and I'm going, what are you talking about,
What are you
Laura?
arguing?
I mean, but anyway, that's my comments for now, Mr. Cabral.
Yeah, these numbers that are in this point in time are pure fiction, in my view. You look at the numbers, theoretically, we have more homeless in this town than Aliso Viejo, Dana Point, Laguna Hills, Mission Viejo, Santa Margarita, San Juan Capistrano, and the whole unincorporated county of Orange. Us alone have more than all those cities. It's just not accurate. It's not true. And that point in time, we have these two people out there every day. They know what the point, they know better than what a point in time is. They know what we have every day of the year. And what we have to, I agree with the recommendation. We have to get this information out because we can't allow the county to keep promoting this wrong information. It's not accurate, and I don't know how we do that at the appropriate time. I guess we'll figure that out, but we just got to let people know that these numbers are not true and not accurate, and get that out to the public.
And who certifies those numbers?
County, I guess.
Who at the county, the board of supervisors?
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, well, it's important to get the facts right because the facts is the foundation of everything. So I would say, yeah, let's reach out to the county, provide our evidence to them, and counter that.
Hey, Zen, I want to just let you know that we invited somebody from the county to come down and appear tonight, and I don't think they ever answered the email, right? The phone call.
I called Mr. Becht myself, and he has not returned my call to date.
At the same time, let's evaluate. Okay, the numbers are wrong. It makes San Clemente look bad, but is there any real penalty to the city?
Yes. As I mentioned, we've had to update our zoning ordinance to modify our requirements for emergency shelters in contemplation of the 2024 point-in-time count. There's a very good chance that we're going to have to update that again to facilitate by right emergency shelter development for a number of homeless individuals that has been identified on the point-in-time count, which we cannot establish any accurate data to reflect.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but we can always challenge that request with our own evidence, can we?
That's a fight with the California Department of Housing and Community Development, and they will typically just simply rely on those numbers, which is why I'd like to, in furtherance of what I attempted to do 2 years ago, I would like to elevate this to an additional levels of authority in where these numbers are being reported to.
What is that, can you expand on that? What does that look like in elevating this?
That would be sending letters or a letter to the Orange County Continuum of Care, the California Department of Housing and Community Development, the California Interagency Council on Homelessness, and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
City manager?
Yeah, I would encourage residents and anyone interested to look at the point-in-time count. One of the things that we're missing is the scale, and I think the mayor tried to touch on that a little bit. We have cities, even the south part of our community, like Mission Viejo, much larger community than us, has a point-in-time count of 15. We have 74. We have much larger cities like you mentioned, Newport Beach, that have a point-in-time count of 8. The scale of it is really almost punitive towards San Clemente, and I'm not sure, we need to understand why everybody else's point in time seems to be fairly accurate, and ours is going up, or everybody else is going down. That just doesn't even match what's happening in the region. So we need to understand why that's happening, because it feels punitive for whatever reason, and I think it's important for us to understand that.
Is there a way we can get to the county?
The question would be whose finger's on the scale?
Is there a way we can go to the county and ask them to sit down with us, go over this methodology?
We asked.
Can I just follow up on my question, Ed? So I agree we need to take further action. I'm just wondering, going down this road, and again, I agree we need to go down this road, what happens next theoretically?
Well, I would say that this is not the typical response that cities have to the point-in-time count, so I don't know exactly what difference this would make. I don't think that there's much risk in simply making our position known. I would like to think that the reporting agencies and the county would assess the methodology that they used in San Clemente. And I've got a little sidebar that I'll get back to in a second, but I would like to see them reassess that and either use the numbers that our community outreach staff have put together, or work with the city to conduct some other type of point-in-time analysis. One thing that I will say, and this is something that, again, we don't have all of the data on how they've actually collected this information. We just have maps and reports from the field during the point-in-time count. But there's a very good chance that there are people in the state parks that are sleeping there, and those numbers are being attributed to San Clemente when they're not even in this county. That's a highly problematic methodology if it's jurisdictionally based.
And then just following along with that, so we make our case known. We believe this is a wrong count. Hypothetically, they don't do anything to rectify this or to give credence to what we're saying. Would there be a further step after that?
I think potentially there could be. I believe that I've heard some other elected officials from other cities throwing around some ideas. I have not looked into those ideas. I'm basing this concept on actions that are appropriate for my level.
Sorry, I just want to say really quickly, Troy, Carly, you are doing phenomenal work out there, and you're right, these numbers are a slap in the face to the work that you are doing. If anything, we should be finding these accurate numbers so that other cities should be using what you're doing as a model for how to help the unsheltered, how to help the homeless, and this is what the rest of our state should be doing, and you are exemplifying that. So if I believe we need to get these numbers accurate to show the world, to show the state what good you are doing.
Thank you.
Mr. Cabral?
Yeah, a couple things. Do we know whether they use the same methodology in every city for counting?
That's a really good question. I do know that CityNet has done cleanup counts in Dana Point. I don't know if they've done that in the other 31 cities in the county or the unincorporated area. That's the type of information that we're lacking. Also, when it comes to potentially counting people that are not within the jurisdiction, that's a fundamentally an issue that relates to our context being right next door to a state park that is not really in a city. So that type of survey would naturally not apply to every city.
Could we also put out our own report that, with our own methodology that's more accurate and distribute that?
I think that would be, I think that would have to be part of the analysis that we provide. As noted in the last email that I sent to the county on this subject, my last line basically was, we will consider 28 people as our unsheltered number.
I'd like you to construct a concise, to the point letter to that effect that we can start sending out to the county. I know, I mean, not only is it an insult to our outreach, it's an insult to Amber, our deputy, who worked here for so many years. Walt, I've talked to Walt numerous times, and I think his numbers, he knows he's out there every day, are the same as what Carly and Troy's reporting. And it's just untenable that the county is doing this for no reason. Why would our outreach workers want to make the number lower? I guess it's job security, right? They'd want it to be high, but they take pride in the fact that it's low. And our residents need to know that our outreach workers and our deputies are doing such a fantastic job. What it was compared to 5 years ago it's just not even the same city. And so to our residents, know that you are being protected, you are being serviced, and close your ears. This is bullshit. It's bullshit. Thank you, Carly and Troy. I don't get down on this. We're behind you. The city's behind you. Keep doing the good work. Chief Chevalier, make sure your deputies know that we're behind them, and this number is just a fallacy, and we need to call the county out on this.
So are you proposing a letter?
I'm proposing that, between the city manager and Adam, that they're not a long rambling, but we know what the data is. To the point, if you want to quote me, you certainly can, more than happy to, and invite anybody from Orange County wants to come down here, and I'll tell them the same thing. I doubt they will, though. But yes,
I would include in that like our own report on our count on
absolutely, our own
homeless, yeah.
data.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And our methodology.
100%.
Our residents doesn't read this report, but they see with their own eyes. They know it's better, right?
Sure, but we have to
With work-
remind them because they
right.
read the Orange County Register and think different. So do we need a motion, or can we get consensus on formulating a letter?
Mayor, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we do have one speaker card before we make a motion.
Okay. Who might that be?
Donna Vadrine?
Donna Vadrine. Are you still here, Donna?
Yes, she is.
Step on up.
And let me just say that I think I'd like to know who's got their thumb on the scale and why. This is an intentional apparent insult to our town, and I wonder who at the county's got their thumb on the scale.
Make that inquiry in your letter.
Good evening. Addressing homelessness in San Clemente, the recently released point-in-time count provides both encouraging news and a challenge for our community. The point-in-time count was organized by Everyone Counts OC and the Orange County Office of Care Coordination. More than 1,300 volunteers participated. While Orange County is making measurable progress, San Clemente faces a different reality. The 2026 count identified 74 unsheltered individuals and 39 sheltered individuals in our city for a total homeless population of 113 people. Unlike many neighboring South Orange County communities that experienced decreases, San Clemente saw an increase in both sheltered and unsheltered homelessness compared to 2024. I had the opportunity to participate as a volunteer during the late evening shift on January 29th. Along with other volunteers, we received maps identifying locations throughout San Clemente where individuals experiencing homelessness were known to stay. We then traveled throughout the city, making contact with people living outdoors and conducting surveys. Each person we encountered had a story. Many were experiencing health challenges, mental health conditions, disabilities, or economic hardships. Some had recently lost housing, others were struggling to navigate systems of care. Many expressed a desire for shelter, stability, and support. These encounters reinforced an important truth. Homelessness is not simply a housing issue. It is often a healthcare issue, a behavioral health issue, and a social service issue. Effective solutions require all of these systems working together. San Clemente has dedicated people already making a difference. The work of outreach specialists Carly and Troy, Family Assistance Ministries, Friendship Shelter, faith communities, and community volunteers demonstrate that compassionate, coordinated intervention can change lives. We must continue building on these efforts. We should expand prevention programs that help residents remain housed, increase access to supportive and affordable housing opportunities, strengthen partnerships with county, state, and federal agencies, and pursue innovative solutions that use public resources wisely and effectively. As we move forward, let us commit to thoughtful policies, measurable outcomes, and evidence-based solutions.
Thank you, Donna. And again, we must always support our homeless community and keep on reaching out and giving services wherever we can. As a city, we are dedicated to that. Do we have consensus on what we directed staff to do on the letter?
Yes.
Is it clear?
Including the report.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
Adam, you understand.
Staff is very aware of what the council is directing, and we will take action.
I think it's just consensus.
It's a consensus.
We have consensus, and thank you. Let's move on.
Next item on the agenda is consideration of Resolution 26-108, adopting citywide automated license plate reader usage and privacy policy, updating the city's retention schedule for ALPR data, and authorizing automatic destruction of ALPR data after expiration of the retention period.
Do we have any comment cards?
We do,
How many?
just one.
Okay, yep. Do you have a staff report?
Yes, a brief one.
Can we just hear the comments? And
You have no questions to staff?
I don't.
I just have a quick, can I just ask staff a quick question before? Yeah, so when is this going to go into effect? What's the time frame on this project? That's all.
This policy would take effect immediately after tonight.
Okay, what about is this just for ACE parking's license plate readers? That's why we're doing it?
Currently, yes.
But we have possible plans in the future of,
Anything in the future
Our
that
own-
utilizes it, it would also govern how we manage that
it
program.
would cover the city as well.
That's correct.
Okay, any questions to
Yes,
staff?
I actually have a few. There have a few bullet points here on the key provisions of the policy include, you have a couple there. The third one, restrictions on unauthorized or improper use of ALPR data. Is there what's the reason behind that?
Just to manage how the system will be used and to provide a framework for appropriate use.
For appropriate use?
And it's all, kind of outlined in the,
Okay, and then the next one is data retention limits not exceeding 2 years unless legally required. What's the reason for that?
well, typically the city is obligated to keep any public record for a minimum of 2 years. And so this kind of sets that as the baseline.
So after 2 years, they have to get rid of any of the data that they have collected?
That's correct.
Okay, and then the next one, security, audit, logging, and breach notification requirements. What's the reason for that one?
If for some reason there was a system that contained some related data and there was any kind of a cybersecurity breach on that, we'd be obligated to notify anybody who could have been potentially affected. This is, kind of a global government code issue where if there's any kind of personally identifiable information that's breached, then we're obligated to notify the public.
Great, and ACE would notify us, correct, if there was a breach?
Yes.
Okay, good. And then the next one, 2 down, annual audit, sorry, the one required training for authorized users. What's the reason for that one?
Well, I think it's to make sure people understand the importance of managing a system that has access to personally identifiable information.
Great. And then last one, second to last, annual audits and compliance reviews. What's the reason for that one?
This is to take a look at how the system's being used and make sure that it's being used in accordance with the policy.
Okay, but, and we are part of that annual audit?
Yes, if the city has access to these systems, then we would obligate ourselves through this policy to.
Okay,
conduct
great.
that.
And then the public transparency part through the publication, again, just the reason for that transparency is so that the public is aware of everything that we're doing, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, all of our policies and procedures here at the city are posted on the website, and this aligns with that.
Great, and this is policy implemented to go along with a surveillance system, correct? A surveillance that's looking at different license plate readers.
This is a policy to align with any system that, I guess the example I would use is the collection of parking data to determine how long somebody's staying in a parking space. And so with an ALPR system, you can drive up and down the street and see where the cars are and how long they've been there. And so you can tell if people are staying on Del Mar for 2 hours, or if it's 3 hours, or if they're staying for 8 hours.
And all these other provisions in here are there to protect our citizens from any sort of overreach or malfeasance in the system, correct?
Yeah, that's the intent of the policy.
Great, and so just curious, did we have any of these policies in place with the other surveillance system that was voted upon with the federal government?
That system doesn't collect license plates, to my knowledge, but
But it does look out into the public sphere.
that's correct.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions to staff?
Just a comment, this system is very effective at crime prevention. And the computer systems, I understand, are interlinked, and they work very cooperative together. Our sheriff likes to tell the story about a lady in Talega whose car was stolen, And when she called to report the car was stolen, these computer systems, not ours, but the county, the CHP, and our neighboring city, followed the car, contacted it immediately, followed it, and this car was stopped and the thieves arrested before the local police officer could get to the lady's house and take a report. So it's extremely effective, and I think this will be a boon to our city.
It was instrumental in finding the Chilean burglars that were terrorizing Talega, so there is definitely value. Any other questions of staff?
Sorry, are we doing comments or questions?
Well, you have a question of staff or a comment?
I have a comment. I'll wait.
Okay, no other questions of staff? Okay, let's hear the public comment.
Donna Vadrine?
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. I am speaking tonight in support of the city's automated license plate reader usage and privacy policy. This policy establishes clear regulations governing the use of ALPR technology and helps build public trust through accountability, transparency, and oversight. The Orange County Sheriff's Department uses flock safety cameras as a regional crime-fighting tool. These systems are prohibited from being used for traffic enforcement and do not utilize facial recognition technology. Their purpose is to assist law enforcement in locating stolen vehicles, identifying suspects, and solving crimes. The flock camera program was reviewed through the Public Safety Committee process and later approved by the City Council as part of the city's public safety platform. The use of this technology is governed by California law and OCSD policy, with users required to document the purpose of each access to the ALPR data. Tonight's policy includes important safeguards. These protections help ensure that investigative technology is used responsibly while maintaining public confidence. As I conclude, I respectfully ask that these same principles of transparency, oversight, and accountability be applied to the proposed Homeland Security surveillance camera project before installation occurs in San Clemente. The surveillance camera proposal deserves the same level of public review and policy safeguards we are discussing tonight. Residents should have confidence that any technology monitoring our community will operate under clear policies, legal protections, public transparency, and appropriate oversight. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Donna. Do we have a motion?
No, I have a comment.
Oh, and a comment. I'm sorry.
I just want to say, I think it's good with the license reader that we have all these protections. I think they're needed. The difference between the property that we've leased is that we've leased a piece of property up on top of the hill. I would expect that the federal government would have those same kind of protections to protect the integrity of the data. But if it's not being protected, we should reach out to Congressman Levin to make sure he takes responsibility for ensuring that similar kinds of protections are put in place by the federal government for this data, because if they as a federal government who is responsible for that data don't have these kind of protections, they should. But that's a responsibility of the federal government. We're just leasing a piece of property.
Thank you.
I'll make a comment.
May I make a motion?
No, I got it.
Mark has a comment
Yeah.
first, then you will entertain a motion.
Yes, a couple things on that. One, I do agree with this policy. I think it is good for our accountability to make sure that we have trust but verify. That's what this is. And we trust our OCSD, but we also want to verify the flock cameras and how they're being used. And that is absolutely the policy that we should go forward with, not just with this camera, it's a surveillance camera system, but with any surveillance system that we have in place anywhere. And our city should relook at our other surveillance cameras that we're using to make sure that they have a similar policy in place. Now, to the other comment about Representative Levin, he is actually looking into that. Unfortunately, he has contacted me and said, in the current situation of our Congress, they are not interested in putting in these safeguards because of the majority of Congress wants to go along with no accountability and give free range, which is why we as a city need to take on these same recommendations to safeguard ourselves. We cannot trust the current congressional legislators to actually do something to protect its own citizens. We as city council members should be doing that, just as we are doing this right now. Yes, so I would hope that when we get to future agenda items, we can look at reassessing our policy to align with the safeguards that are in place here.
Councilmember Wu.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you,
Is this a
Victor.
motion or is it comments?
He's going to make a motion.
I have a comment. I think the comment that there's no safeguards is irresponsible and not true. I think the Customs and Border Patrol people, when they were here, described the federal statutes that they're compelled to comply with to make sure that the citizens' rights aren't violated. So to suggest that the Congress is out of control and run by some sort of renegade entity to me is
Councilmember Novak, your comments. Let's keep it to the license plate readers. That's the most, so point of order, we'll move to the motion.
Well, thank you for all your comments. I hear you. I share with your concerns. Let's deal with the question at hand. I move to adopt a resolution number 26108.
Second.
Well, we have a tie for second. I'm going to defer to Councilmember Enmeyer. Motion by Councilmember Wu, second by Councilmember Enmeyer. All in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0. You were.
Next item on the agenda is the consent calendar, and I do not have any speaker cards.
Okay, anything pulled by the council?
Nope.
Hearing none.
I'll make a motion to move the balance.
Second by Councilmember Wu, motion by Councilmember Enmeyer. All in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0.
Oral communications, part 2, I do not have any speaker cards.
Oh.
So we'll move on to future agenda items.
Yes, I just want to see if there's anyone is interested in taking a relook at our policy safeguards for the surveillance system and the contract being proposed, if we want to reevaluate to make sure that they are aligned with, similar to how we align with our flock cameras.
Let me make a comment on that. I believe procedurally need to be one of the people voting in favor of it. In other words, to reconsider an item, one of the majority, one member from the majority has to initiate that. So, Mark, you may not be able to initiate it. That's how I understand the procedure.
If there's no second, then.
Well, I bet it's an interesting question, as City Attorney.
So a motion for reconsideration does require to be brought by someone who is on the prevailing side. There's also typically a time period in which to bring that.
What's the purpose of the motion again?
To reevaluate the camera situation, but it would have to be made by one of the ayes. None of the ayes have made it, so.
It dies.
Yeah.
I have a request for a
Okay.
future, I have a request for a future agenda item when the
Well, for future agenda items, absolutely.
earlier tonight, there was a discussion about the use of city contractors using herbicides in the parks and other areas. You know, the county has a huge issue right now with the riverbeds, the flood control channels being continually sprayed with cancer-causing herbicides. I think if our city and any of our contractors is involved in similar practices, I'd like to at least know what they are and where they are. So I'd like to agendize a request to have the city report on the use of herbicides in our parks and
I'll
cities.
second that.
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Noblock, second by Councilmember Cabral. We have a third for a report.
Give you a third.
Third for Councilmember Enmeyer.
Thank you.
Any other future agenda items? Hearing none.
City Attorney?
I have nothing to report except it's a pleasure to serve the city of San Clemente. Thank you.
City Manager?
We have a couple of contracts, excuse me, The first is with Nino and Moore Geotechnical and Environmental Environmental Sciences Consultants, providing for the Calle Real Pump Station rehabilitation in the amount of $27,502. And West America Communications for providing the Spring 2026 City Magazine printing in the amount of $27,853.
Okay, and I have an adjournment in memory of, and I got this from the gentleman's family. I didn't know him, so I'm going to try to go through this. Larry Rollup, I guess he worked for Rollup and Associates, and he was a finance advisor for the city for many, many years. He was actually oversaw the purchase of the Negocio building, which is now City Hall, and by his investments, we were granted a AAA bond rating under his supervision. So I just want to take a moment of silence and adjourn this meeting in the name of Larry Rollup.
To convene.
I'm having our moment of silence. Thank you. And we will adjourn, convene to the next meeting, which is June 16th. June 16th, 2026 at 4:30 p.m. at the City Hall, 910 Calle Negocio.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Noblock. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. This guy looks kind of familiar.
4 o'clock?
4:30.
4:30.